Hello. Welcome to this video. We're going to tackle a common headache in Django, static files not loading in production. This can be frustrating, but we'll walk through the steps to fix it. Let's dive in. First, understand the problem. In development, Django usually serves static files automatically. This changes when you deploy to production. You need to configure your server to handle these files correctly. One common mistake is not setting debug false in your settings.py file for production. When debug is true, Django tries to serve static files, which isn't efficient or secure. Setting it to false tells Django to rely on your web server, like Nginx or Apache, to serve them. Next, configure static_root. This setting specifies the directory where Django will collect all static files from your apps. Open your settings.py file. Make sure you have static_URL defined. This is the base URL for your static files. A common value is /static/. Now, add static_root. This should be an absolute path to a directory where your static files will be collected. For example, static_root equals os.path.join base_dir static files. Ensure the directory you specify actually exists. You might need to create it. Once you've configured static_root, run the collectstatic command. Open your terminal and run python manage.py collectstatic. This command copies all static files from your apps and the static directory into the static_root directory. Answer yes when prompted to copy the files. Now, configure your web server. This is where things get a bit more specific, depending on your chosen server. For Nginx, you'll need to configure a location block to serve the files from your static_root directory. This typically involves adding a block to your Nginx configuration file. For Apache, you'll need to configure a similar directive. Consult your web server's documentation for the specifics. It's crucial to ensure your server is correctly pointing to the directory where you collected your static files. Double-check the paths in your configuration. Don't forget to restart your web server after making changes to its configuration. This ensures that the changes are applied. Finally, clear your browser cache. Sometimes, the browser is simply holding onto old versions of the static files. Clearing the cache forces it to download the latest versions. If you're still having trouble, check your browser's developer tools. The Network tab will show you which files are being requested and whether they are being loaded successfully. Look for 404 errors, which indicate that the files are not being found. Also, verify the file permissions. Ensure that your web server has read access to the static files. Thank you for watching. I hope this video helped you resolve your static file issues. If you found this helpful, please consider liking the video and subscribing for more Django tips and tricks. Your support helps me create more content like this.